Today we're going to talk about villains, but not just any villains. We're going to talk about Batman's villains. And you know, you love some Batman. So I was really excited to put this list together.
Yeah, it's
And
going to be
so,
interesting.
my question to you is, who is the better villain? So really think about this. Who is the better
I'm
villain?
going to help you with something. Don't ever compare anybody to Joker.
Okay.
Joker's going to be number one. And I'm pretty sure people are watching and be like, I'm pretty sure you ain't going to choose anybody over Joker. Nobody's going to choose any Batman villain over Joker.
Okay, look,
And it's been proven Joker beats everybody that's a villain in Gotham City.
I completely agree. Joker is going to beat
So
out
if you want
everybody.
to put him just away out of this subject, people will understand. So you know what? Outside of Joker, because
Okay.
I'm always going to choose Joker.
I can do that.
So now y'all know who's
I'ma
watching.
take-
That Joker's number one. So now is the vote for number two. Because, yeah, ever
I'ma
since I was a
take-
kid, Joker's always been the best.
All right.
And he's only gotten better.
I took Joker off my list, which is fine because there was another person on my list who I was like, I don't really know who he is. I know you would, but he's not really up there on the villain list. We'll get to him afterward. I know you're like, who? I want to know. But I want to know who is the better villain when I give you these comparisons. So think about who they are as a villain. Who played a better villain? This can be comic book or movie. First round, Riddler or Scarecrow?
That's a good one. That's a really good one. They both played a major factor in both cartoon, movie, comic. Riddler.
Okay. Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy?
Harley Quinn. Oh, wait a minute.
Better villain.
Because people only know what they see on the cartoon. Comic, both Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy had crazy lives, which it makes you understand them a little more, and even show why Batman was more sympathetic to them. The background Poison Ivy had of why she became the way she is, the background of Harley Quinn, she honestly was the way she is because she just wanted somebody to care for her. She just got Joker just used that to his advantage. I'll just say both on that one.
Okay.
Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. You know, I understand why they started doing the whole Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy together. The kind of thing they made later down the line. They started putting them in a relationship. I don't agree with it to the fact that it was always the toxic relationship was the relationship was her and Joker, Harley Quinn and Joker. Now, if they want to say after the fact of that, then okay, I understand. But some comics erase the fact that Harley Quinn had a toxic relationship with Joker and just went to Poison Ivy. I don't like that story.
Yeah.
I'm cool with the fact, I can understand the fact of her going to Poison Ivy later, but it just depends on what comic you was reading. There was some comics I understood because they related to each other and it was like, okay. And then there was some that was like, what? Like they tried to erase that thing with her and the Joker. I still didn't watch that cartoon one of Harley Quinn with her and Poison Ivy. I did not watch that yet.
Do you have that?
No, it's a TV show. It's like a Family Guy thing, but people said it was good. I still haven't watched that yet. But yeah, they're both. I like them both. They have very interesting stories. But so yeah, cheers.
Right. All right. Penguin or Mr. Freeze?
Mr. Freeze.
Why?
Mr. Freeze, the only Batman villain that makes me cry.
Because of his story.
His story,
Yeah.
yeah. People might like, what? Batman and Robin? No. You guys don't ignore that one.
Mr. Freeze.
Even though that one, you understand his love for his wife, they did show that, but it was nothing like how the comics, even the cartoon, the Kevin Conroy, rest in peace. Kevin Conroy, it was a movie called Sub-Zero. Very underrated. Batman animated series movie. That made me cry. The score, the story, it was simple, but it was heartfelt. And that ending really made you feel it. So Mr. Freeze. I like Penguin. He's a good villain. But outside of him, he's just a gangster. Penguin doesn't have this, like, usually a lot of certain Batman characters have this story behind them of why they are the way they are. Even with Joker, you know his background, depending on what comic you read. Like I just said, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. But Mr. Freeze has the best heartfelt story, even than Joker. His is better than Joker when it comes to background story of why he does what he does. And even Batman knows it. He's like, if his wife was fine, he wouldn't be a villain. That's the thing. If his wife was just fine, he wouldn't be who he is. So, but anyway, yeah, I'll just say Mr. Freeze.
Okay. Talia Ghul or Catwoman?
Ooh. They both are significant in Batman's life. And Catwoman, you could say good guy or bad guy. So
Yeah.
Talia.
But Talia's still...
No, Talia's a villain.
She's a villain, but she's still the baby mama.
Yeah,
So
out of drugging Batman.
I mean, yeah,
he didn't know. He didn't know until he woke up, and then because he wouldn't go to do what she wanted, and I was like, that's a villain thing to do. Like, you go to jail? What do you mean?
He still has respect for her. There was still
only
feelings.
because that's the
Okay,
he had love for her.
What's the movie?
But
that
Catwoman never did that to him.
I mean, but she's still a villain. I
No,
mean, she can be good, but she can be a villain. But there was a movie that we watched with...
Yeah, the son of Batman.
I was about to say, yeah, that one. There was still love between them.
Respect.
Fair.
But then he brought the fact that, you mean you drugged me? So, yeah. And then the Bad Blood movie, she, she went straight back. Like, she went crazy. But, no, Catwoman.
It's a better villain? A better villain?
Oh, that's right. You said better villain. I was thinking about just character in general.
No, better villain.
Better villain? Dang. Yeah, I would say a better villain.
Catwoman?
Because Catwoman used her, like, she would play it smart. She would play the good guy for you to get her bad favors done. And she would be she was one of those people that actually got Batman from time to time. Talia, unless she drugged Batman, never really got him. And she only drugged him once, and that didn't happen again. So, but Catwoman would leave, like, a scene, and Batman, after he thought she helped him, and she did, and she would help just to get what she wanted, and then she'll be on a jet somewhere, got what she wanted, and so she was smarter. So, and she used her love for him and his love for her to get what she wanted. So, thank God later down the line, she turned good and she actually was helping the Justice League and stuff like that, as long as Batman was around. But yeah, so Catwoman.
Okay. Deathstroke or Deadshot?
Oh, Deathstroke. Yeah, Deathstroke.
Deathstroke?
If Deathshot doesn't have his guns and he's nothing. Deathshot's not trained to know the shadows. Deathstroke is. Him and Batman were trained in the same area.
Okay.
So, Deathstroke don't need a gun. So, Deathstroke always has a step over Deadshot. Now, if the situation worked perfectly in Deadshot's favor, where he sees Deathstroke from far away and he has a sniper, then okay, but that has to work perfectly for him. Deathstroke doesn't need all that. He said, who's my target? Okay, I got it. And that's all it is. That's why we was looking forward to seeing the Ben Affleck Batman movie, because Deathstroke was going to be the villain in there, and that would have been amazing. But, thank you, James Gunn.
Be nice.
Shout out to Zack Snyder. Your universe is still amazing. And one day, WB is going to have a documentary saying we regret not letting you finish. Love you, James Gunn, for what you did for Guardians of the Galaxy. I never go at people personally, because I don't know you personally. But business-wise, you should have let Zack Snyder finish his universe. Let the Flash do a Flashpoint thing, and when it changes the time, it's your universe. That would have been perfect. But no, we just, but what do we know, right? We're just comic book fans who know the story. It's like we don't, But anyway, moving on.
Okay. Phantasm or Ra's al Ghul?
Oh, like Mask of the Phantasm, that villain?
Yeah.
Movie-wise, Phantasm is really good, but as a villain, just a character alone, Ra's al Ghul has to, the man who trained Batman, detective, that was his famous line, and just his story arc in the comics, and people know his comic stories. I mean, the lady in Mask of the Phantasm, she was good, but she wasn't nowhere near as trained as these other villains are. So she was just out for revenge for what Joker did. Which is another reason why I say you can't put Joker. It's because Joker's always like the pinpoint of somebody. But anyway, so yeah.
Okay. Two-Face or Killer Croc?
Two-Face.
Why?
The story of Harvey Dent.
Fair.
You know, Killer Croc has a good story, but
villain. Better villain.
But Two-Face, the arc of you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. You know, I know that's in The Dark Knight, but that was even in the comics. And the friend of Bruce Wayne becomes one of his big enemies. You know, and then the villain arc of Two-Face where he is two people in his head.
Yeah.
So he's Harvey Dent one day, and then Two-Face, you know, it's very thought out, and so I respect that.
Fair. And the last one, Bane versus Hush.
Ooh, Hush.
Really?
Hush is smart.
Okay.
All that brute strength. Now, if you're talking Tom Hardy Bane, you know, from the movie, because he was smart too. Well, no, Hush still would have the upper hand. Hush always did his things ahead. He was always a step ahead of a lot of situations. So I would say Hush.
Okay. Second round, where we narrow some things down. The Riddler versus Harley Quinn. Better villain.
Better villain. The Riddler.
Okay. Poison Ivy versus Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Catwoman versus Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
Ra's al Ghul versus Two-Face.
Ra's al Ghul.
Okay.
I'm going straight off villains. Best villain, but yeah.
All right. Do you know who Hugo Strange?
Mm-hmm.
This is who I was talking about in the beginning. But
The man who knows Batman's identity. But yeah.
So
He's going to lose a lot because he doesn't have much besides knowledge of who Batman is.
Got it.
So it's like he's going to lose to anybody that's on that list. Mm-hmm. So the only thing he had that was an upper hand was the fact that
he knows who he is.
Yeah. So, you know, he had a couple connections, but overall, compared to some other villains.
Now, didn't the Riddler figure out who Batman was?
Depending on what comic book you read, yes.
Okay.
But, yeah, Hugo Strange was no threat physically, or even strategy-wise, unless he had connections with other villains. So that means it was those villains. So those villains, he needed those villains to do what he needed to do. So, you know.
Okay. The Riddler versus Hush.
Hush.
Mr. Freeze.
And I'm sorry, because those going to be
ahead.
like, in the movie, Hush was Riddler. No. The real Hush in the comics. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about that one. Now, in the movies, the cartoon, Hush was Riddler. So I will understand if you said that. If you're like, well, they're the same. Read the comic. You'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I'm saying that Hush. So yeah, Hush.
Okay. Mr. Freeze, I'm going to leave him. I'm going to say Deathstroke versus Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul trained Deathstroke.
I know.
But Deathstroke had the advantage. And Deathstroke.
Ooh.
Deathstroke's proven multiple times that he can beat Ra's al Ghul.
Oh.
The same way Ra's al Ghul trained Batman, but Batman always had the upper hand. So, and Deathstroke is the closest thing hand to hand outside of Bane of Batman's equal. So, yeah.
Interesting. Now, I have your top 3 left, and let's narrow these 2 down. We'll get them down to at least 2. Mm-hmm. So we'll say Mr. Freeze versus Hush.
We're going straight villains, not story.
Best villain.
I got to keep remembering that because earlier I was talking about story. So best villain, Hush. Hush was a problem. So
okay.
He was a big problem. He made Batman think Joker killed Batman's best friend, and Batman almost killed Joker. And for the first time in Joker's life, Joker did nothing. He was like, that's a good villain right there. Joker's like, I didn't do anything, and Batman don't beat him to death. That was the one time. It was like, dang. I remember reading that for the first time. I'm like, dang, the one time Joker did nothing. You know? Mm-hmm. But anyway.
All right, so your last two are Hush and Deathstroke. We know that Joker's number one. Mm-hmm. Who's number two in your top three, and who's number three in your top three?
Deathstroke's number two. The reason I say that is because Hush has nothing on Deathstroke to get an advantage on. Batman has other quaint, like how he uses friend, or he used cat, or, different, like, depending on if you watch, I'm talking on if you watch the movie or books, so I'm bouncing back and forth. For those who are like, well, that's from the movie, that's from the book, I'm bouncing back and forth, just in case you didn't read the books, so I'm also giving examples from the movie. Hush used different things to mess with Batman, Catwoman, his friend, I'll stick to the movies for now. So his friends and all that stuff. Deathstroke for the most part, has nothing that you can use against him. So you're going to face him head on, and you're not beating Deathstroke. So, I always said if Batman had nothing to lose and went straight to Riddler, or depending on which one, depending on which Hush you're either reading or you're watching, Batman could take out Hush. But because Hush, like they always say, villains always say, you have a weakness. Batman has a few weaknesses. Deathstroke doesn't. So I would have to say Deathstroke, then Hush. Okay. That's how I look at it. I'm like, if those two are face to face, what would Hush have on Deathstroke? Hush was sneaky, but Deathstroke was too. So I'm like, what else? Head on, Hush is not beating Deathstroke. So yeah, I was have to say, Deathstroke. So Joker, Deathstroke, Hush.
All right. Joker, Deathstroke, Hush. Of the three, who has the most power to kill Batman?
Who has the most what?
The best power to kill Batman.
Oh, like I said, Joker.
Batman.
Like I said, Joker.
So it all comes down to Joker. Mm-hmm. Fair?
Joker wants you to kill him.
Yes. He has nothing to lose.
And he knows, like I said, Batman has a weakness.
What's my favorite movie? The one where it's his life? And it tells his whole story.
Oh, the
Killing Joke.
Oh yeah.
I love that one because
it of a bad day.
Like
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Joker wants you to kill him. Mm-hmm. So and Joker's not going to stop until you do. Hush and Deathstroke don't want to die.
Yeah.
And it was like what Alfred said. Some men just want to watch the world burn, and when you face someone like that, you have to make a tough decision.
Yeah.
So Joker always has like a mental advantage sometimes on Batman. But I said it's more than just having a physical fighting style. 'Cause that's like Bane. He has a physical advantage. But without that, Bane is nothing against Batman. So Joker has no fighting skills, but he knows how to get into Batman's brain and mess with him emotionally. Like in the movies when he killed Rachel Dawes, and even how he lied to him, he gave him the directions of where Rachel was. But Joker smartly knew that you want to rescue Rachel, so I'm gonna give you Rachel's address, and it's actually Harvey Dent. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna mess with you. That's why when he opened the door and saw Harvey Dent, he froze like, he tricked him, And again, he has no fighting style whatsoever. Deathstroke's the best fighter in all those villains, but Joker was still, it is interesting, even in the comic books, Joker would somehow beat Deathstroke. How? That's the thing. That's what makes him so good. Has no fighting style, nothing. But Joker will always find a way. That's why it took like an Injustice route where Superman, But before that, Joker laughed because he won already. He had Superman kill almost all of Metropolis and his wife with his baby in his belly. So when Joker smiled when he got killed, he was like, my job's done. I made the strongest villain, the strongest hero of all time, not only destroy his land and his wife with his baby, but I made him do what Batman refused to do, which is kill me. And that's what Batman told in the comments. You really let Joker win.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman's like, no, we should kill him. He was like, that's exactly what he wants you to do. And you did it. So you're actually the fool, not him. He knew his life was expendable. Joker, that's the thing. When you fight somebody whose life he knows he's expendable. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this until you kill me. You want to arrest me? I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna do it again. Arrest me again. I'm gonna find a way to get out and I'm gonna do it again, over and over. And when he gets bored, I'm gonna do it to people in jail. Joker's just a wild case. So yeah,
he's the best villain.
Yep.
The best Batman villain. Bet. All right. Do you guys agree with this list? Do you agree that Batman's villains, Joker's number 1? How about Deathstroke at number 2 and Hush at number 3? I really want you guys to have the same conversation. Go through your lists. We had Riddler versus Scarecrow, Harley Quinn versus Poison Ivy, Penguin versus Mr. Freeze, Talia versus the Catwoman, Deathstroke versus Deadshot, Phantasm versus Ra's al Ghul, Two-Face versus Killer Croc, and then Hush versus Bane. So go through your list, figure out who your top 3 are, and then comment below who you believe is Batman's greatest villain. I mean, we all know it's Joker, but we want to know your top 3. So make sure you guys go ahead and comment. Thank you so much, honey, for spending some time with me. I appreciate
You're welcome.
you. And until next time, guys. Oh, also, if y'all got recommendations, y'all want us to go through a list, I don't know. You good with that? Yeah. Y'all want us to go through a list, let us know. Drop your list in the comment section or follow Duran on Instagram at IronAngel_. Slide into the DMs. Now, if you about that life where he's married, don't be playing games. That's my husband. But if y'all actually want to have a real conversation and you want to give us a list,
just put in the comment section.
Yeah, put it in the comment section. Let us know. We would love to have that conversation here on the Iron Angel podcast. I'm going to say it's the Iron Angel podcast. It may be a different name, y'all, but it's easy for me to remember. But until next time, we appreciate you for tuning in, and we're going to catch you on the next one. Bye.
See ya.